the biggest moment in all of boxing history when I put this man to sleep.
Mike will be put to sleep, and he will feel my power.
He dreams a lot. This is not going to come true, young man. I think he thinks this is going to be a very easy night. It's not going to be an easy night.
Why does Mike Tyson win this fight?
Because I'm Mike Tyson.
I'm the best ever. There's no one that can match me. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. They're going to fear me.
What would happen if one of the greatest boxing legends of all time stepped into the ring nearly 2 decades past his prime against a fighter half his age with everything on the line? Imagine a man who once dominated the world facing a brash young fighter with a burning desire to make history. Now, what if we told you this showdown is real, an official 8-round battle that won't just entertain but will change boxing history? This isn't just a spectacle, it's a war between past and present, youth and experience, ambition and legacy. And on November 15th, one of them will either shock the world or fall to the unforgiving passage of time. The question is, will you witness the return of a legend or the dawn of a new champion? Picture this, a massive stadium, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, an arena that has witnessed some of the most iconic sports moments in history. This place has held NFL showdowns, Super Bowls, and record-breaking concerts. But on November 15th, it's transforming into a battlefield for something unlike anything we've seen before. A boxing match that has divided fans, shocked critics, and captivated millions. A clash so big it's making history before it even begins. The announcement alone sent shockwaves across social media, sparking debates and discussions in nearly every corner of the internet. People can hardly believe that a man who once dominated the boxing world decades ago will face off with one of the sport's most talked about, controversial newcomers. And here's the twist, Netflix is diving headfirst into live sports by streaming this fight. For the very first time, they're breaking away from movies and TV series to broadcast this event live to millions around the world. This isn't just any fight, it's an event that's crossing boundaries, defying expectations, and challenging everything we thought we knew about boxing. What's at stake? More than a victory or a record in the books. For one fighter, it's about honor, legacy, and proving that greatness doesn't fade with age. For the other, it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot at redemption, at carving out a place in boxing history. These aren't just 2 men stepping into a ring. They're 2 eras, 2 generations, and 2 worlds colliding. The anticipation is almost as powerful as the fighters themselves, with fans on both sides anxiously awaiting what could be the most unpredictable fight of the decade. On fight night, the stadium will be electric. Imagine the energy in the air, the lights dimming, the crowd's deafening roar as each fighter steps into the ring. It's a sight that boxing fans, sports enthusiasts, and curious onlookers alike are dying to see. Cameras will capture every moment, every bead of sweat, every hit, and every second that passes on the clock. The world will be holding its breath, waiting to see who will triumph and who will fall. For these fighters, it's not just about the sport, it's a test of everything they've built, every ounce of training and sacrifice. To add to the tension, think about the sheer magnitude of the crowd, filling every seat in AT&T Stadium, with fans from every generation, all there for one reason, to witness history. They're not just watching for the punches or the knockouts, they're watching for the stories that have brought these men to this moment. They're there to see whether a boxing icon can still conquer at nearly 60 years old, or if youth and grit will come out on top. There's something undeniably captivating about the idea of a boxing legend, nearly 2 decades removed from his prime, daring to face a fighter who wasn't even born when he was crowned champion. It's an epic showdown that almost feels too surreal to believe. With Netflix bringing this event into homes around the globe, millions of viewers will feel like they're right there, sitting ringside, experiencing every punch, every moment of suspense, and every heartbeat of the crowd. For Netflix, this is a massive gamble. They're stepping out of their comfort zone and throwing themselves into live sports for the very first time. And why? Because this fight has the power to draw an audience like no other. Because the stories behind each punch are as real and riveting as any movie or series they've ever produced. And here's the thing, people are divided. In one corner, you have fans of the young fighter cheering him on, convinced that he has the strength, the stamina, and the skills to dethrone a legend. In the other corner are the die-hard fans of the veteran, people who remember his glory days, his knockout power, his unstoppable fury. For them, he's still the baddest man on the planet.
But you'd fight Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I fight a lion if the price is right.
and they believe he can prove it one last time. This fight isn't just about age or experience, it's about proving who still has the heart of a champion. It's about seeing whether the legend can defy the odds, or if the young fighter can rise to a challenge bigger than any he's faced before. It's the classic tale of youth versus experience, but amplified to a level that only a boxing legend and a relentless newcomer could bring. As the days tick down to fight night, the world is buzzing with anticipation. Who will walk out of that stadium victorious, and who will be left wondering what could have been? On November 15th, all eyes will be on AT&T Stadium. Not just the people filling every inch of the arena, but millions more watching from home, gathered around their screens to see this monumental clash. Because this isn't just a fight, it's a defining moment, a turning point, and an unforgettable chapter in both men's stories. And when that first bell rings, the world will be watching, waiting to see if the legend lives on, or if a new name will rise to take his place. Let's dive into how these two very different fighters found themselves on a collision course. On one side, we have a YouTuber turned boxer with a record of 10 wins, 1 loss, and 7 knockouts. Critics scoffed when he first stepped into the ring. They called it a gimmick, a joke, but every time he faced ridicule, he answered with a punch. He started with a knockout against another YouTuber, then took down an NBA player. Not exactly the stuff of boxing glory, but it got him attention. It wasn't long before he moved on to retired MMA fighters, people with combat experience but little boxing technique. Fans were divided. Was he serious? Could he even box? But each fight brought another victory, and soon he was facing down real opponents. Critics demanded more though. They wanted him to face an actual boxer, so he did. He squared off with Tommy Fury, who beat him in a close but decisive battle, proving there was a difference between a YouTube fighter and a trained boxer. But even then, this young contender didn't back down. He came back, knocking out former MMA fighter Nate Diaz, and then, in a shocking twist, defeated bare-knuckle brawler Mike Perry in brutal fashion. His controversial career has continued to defy expectations, and now he's got his eyes on something no one saw coming, the chance to take down a true boxing legend. On the other side of the ring stands the man who redefined fear in the heavyweight division. Born in the rough streets of Brownsville, New York, this fighter became a professional force at only 20.
Well, I used to want to let them know I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I'm not afraid of nobody. In the ring or out of the ring, they got a gun or a knife, and I'll show him that too.
Mike, you're jumping around. You seem to be a little anxious.
I'm just ready to get it on and crush this guy's skull. And show who the real world champion is, the best fighter in the era.
The youngest heavyweight champion in history, but this was no ordinary rise. His ascent was marked by some of the most brutal knockouts boxing had ever seen. This was a fighter who could finish a bout before it even began. His opponents often visibly defeated before the first punch was thrown. His power, his speed, his pure ferocity, he wasn't just a boxer, he was a phenomenon. But as with many legends, his career took a turbulent turn. After an unexpected loss to Buster Douglas and a series of ups and downs, the champion's career slowed. Yet he continued to fight and win until the final chapters in 2005, when he retired after a string of difficult bouts. This is where most fighters hang up their gloves for good, leaving the sport to younger generations. But now, nearly 20 years later, he's back. The stakes couldn't be higher for the comeback of a lifetime. Nearly 2 decades since his last official bout, the former heavyweight champion steps back into the ring, now at 58 years old. This is more than just a fight for him. It's a chance to prove that power, skill, and pure fighting spirit don't fade with time. Known for his explosive power and intense speed, he was once feared by everyone in the heavyweight division, but now he's facing a younger, hungrier opponent with everything to gain from this fight. The world has seen him train and spar, but can he still bring that same ferocity to a real match? Training videos have shown his hand speed remains sharp, his movements calculated, his punches powerful. Even now, after so many years away from the ring, there's something undeniably magnetic about seeing him hit the bags, throw those famous hooks, and move with the same rhythm that made him a legend. And though he's up against a fighter nearly half his age, one thing is certain: age may be a factor, but this legend isn't stepping into the ring just for show. His eyes are set on victory, and his every punch still carries that unmistakable determination. But will it be enough to take down a younger, more active fighter? In the lead up to the fight, the younger fighter hasn't held back his own confidence. He's talked about his training, his conditioning, and his intense focus. At just 27, his age is undoubtedly an advantage. He's been in the ring ring consistently, taking on different opponents, conditioning his body and mind for these moments. But experience is something no amount of training can replicate. For the younger fighter, he's up against a master of the sport, someone who's seen every trick, fought through every strategy, and knows what it takes to go the distance. The question is, will his youth and recent experience be enough to outlast the former champ's grit and knowledge? There's no denying that the years have changed the former champion, but the strength and technique developed through decades of intense fighting are still there. His punches still pack serious power, but the real test will be endurance. Fighting at 58 without the stamina of youth will push him in ways he hasn't faced since his last bout nearly 20 years ago. The training footage looks incredible. He's shown hand speed, power, and the conditioning to spar with intensity, but 8 rounds in a real fight bring a different kind of exhaustion, one that even the hardest training can't fully prepare him for. As both fighters prepare to enter the ring, analysts are split. Some believe that the younger fighter's age and recent fight experience give him the clear upper hand. Others argue that this is a legendary former champ who has fought and won against some of the biggest names in boxing. His technique, wisdom, and sheer resilience may be what sets him apart in the ring. One factor working in the champion's favor is his mental toughness. Years of fighting at the highest level have given him a battle-hardened mindset that no young fighter can match overnight. He's been through brutal battles, comeback victories, and career-defining moments that give him an edge in strategy and focus. While youth brings energy and speed, experience brings patience and tactical insight. In past fights, the younger opponent has relied on his power and conditioning to wear down his opponents, but this time, he's up against a veteran who's seen it all. In the opening rounds, he may have the edge in speed, but if the champion can survive those early bursts, it could become a battle of skill over strength. After all, boxing isn't just about who punches the hardest, it's about who can strategize, adapt, and keep their composure under pressure. And this brings us to one of the biggest unknowns: punch resistance. For a fighter in his late 50s, taking hits from a younger opponent is no small risk. No one knows exactly how the legend's body will respond when faced with the kind of relentless attacks a 27-year-old can throw. If he can withstand those punches and find his rhythm, he has a real shot at pulling off something remarkable. But if age has caught up with him, it could mean a swift end to his comeback. Fans on both sides are speculating, debating, and questioning what will happen when the former champ faces down the barrage from his younger, ambitious opponent. The energy building around this fight is fueled by the mystery of how it will unfold. It's not just about who has the upper hand in age or experience. It's about seeing whether a fighter known for his ruthless power in his prime can still deliver on that reputation. Can the legend's comeback overcome the test of time, or will the younger fighter's stamina prove too much to handle? The excitement around this showdown isn't just in the outcome, it's in witnessing a story decades in the making collide with one just beginning. For one man, it's a shot at proving his legacy endures. For the other, it's an opportunity to make his mark on the sport by taking down a living legend. This isn't just about whether youth can defeat age, it's a question of whether legacy can defy the limits of time. For this clash of legends and rookies, there are some special rules in place. The fight will be 8 rounds, but each round is only 2 minutes instead of the usual 3. That gives the older fighter a better chance to conserve energy. And instead of the standard 10-ounce gloves, they'll be wearing 14-ounce gloves, reducing some of the impact but adding weight to every punch. These rules could make all the difference. The shortened rounds give an edge to the legend, but the heavier gloves mean knockouts will be harder to land. It's a tactical game, one that could swing in any direction depending on who adapts first. But what's truly at stake here? For the younger fighter, this is his moment to silence critics, to prove he's not just a YouTuber with boxing gloves, but a legitimate competitor. A win here could give him a place in history as the man who toppled a legend. But what if it's the other way around? Imagine a 58-year-old champion stepping into the ring and showing the world he's still got it, still capable of going toe-to-toe with someone more than half his age. It's the ultimate fight of legacy versus ambition. Now, let's dive into the real questions that fans are asking. Does the younger fighter stand a chance? He's more active, fresher, and physically more conditioned, but can he handle the psychological warfare that the legend brings things into the ring and for the former champion. Does he have the stamina to make it through all 8 rounds if he doesn't finish the fight early? We know he's still got the power, but what about endurance and resistance to those younger, fresher punches? It's a clash of the unknowns. Fans on both sides are weighing in, taking bets, and making predictions. Social media is a frenzy of opinions, with some firmly believing the younger fighter will be outmatched, while others think he has what it takes to finally bring down an icon. This isn't just about physical ability, it's about mental toughness, strategy, and the ability to withstand whatever comes next. We're just days away. November 15th is approaching, and the world is watching. This isn't just a fight, it's a moment in boxing history, a spectacle that could define or redefine both men's careers. So who are you rooting for? Do you think the legend has one last fight left? Or is this the time for the new generation to take over? Make sure you're tuned into Netflix for what promises to be one of the most unpredictable, high-stakes fights of the decade. Share your predictions in the comments, like and subscribe for the latest updates, and be ready to witness history in the making. Whatever happens, this fight will be talked about for years to come. Don't miss it.